Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. Welcome to my daily ramble. My name's Nick, and this is a very late one for me. As you all saw, I had a day off yesterday. It was my son's 14th birthday. Got a couple of days off now, actually, so I'm just waiting for him to get home, and I'm going to throw a few steaks on the barbecue. It's like living in Australia, isn't it? First barbecue of the year, this will be. So I'm looking forward to that. Just got to pop down the butcher's, get a couple of nice little choice cuts. Don't really know what to get, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think, Gary and John did brilliant yesterday, as did, it was good to see Danny Martinez back as well. It's been ages since we had him on. So, it'd be good. Shame he had to shoot off, but it'd be good to get him back on again sometime soon. Very difficult at these points. I've literally jumped on screen with no prep, as I do normally, to be quite honest, because I'm a waffler. I can waffle on. But before I start waffling, and we'll see where this takes us, don't forget, as always, please drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. Even if you don't, drop a like on the video because it helps us. And please subscribe. We've definitely got a few more shows coming up this week. If I can get the prep done for it, I might be back on later doing a live, doing a live show with you all, and I'll open the phone lines as well, providing I can actually get myself together and get the time and do that later on. I'll do that. It'd be quite a late one, probably from about 9, half 9, something like that. So we shall see what happens. Right, but I don't think this is going to be a difficult one, to be quite honest, because I'm going to touch on some of the points that Gary and John covered yesterday, but I'm obviously going to give my opinion on that as well. We can't really get away from the period that we've got coming up. So as of next Sunday, we've got a horrendous run of games starting with Southampton at home, which is as big a game as we've had in a long time. I mean, how many times have we said this year it's a cup final, it's a must win. Well, this genuinely, legitimately is. We have to win this game. And that's why I can't really get involved. I've been pushed just recently in the last few weeks, what's your points predictions for the remainder of the year? I can't do it because it's all going to be dictated by what happens in that game, the Southampton game. Typically, when we come back from an international break, we don't come back well. We're laboured. We can't come back like that. We've got to come back all guns blazing. I don't think we've got any injuries. We haven't collected any injuries. I mean, Soufal, who was apparently injured prior to this break, he went away with the Czech Republic. He's got an assist, played well. So I don't really know what happened there. Flapped his gums a lot in the Czech media. Not that I minded what he said because it was quite refreshing to hear. But I think we've come away unscathed in terms of players that have gone to play on international duty. Unlike Leeds, who have lost one of their shining stars of this season. That I'm not going to try. Is it Gnotto? The young Italian forward, 18 years old, and he got injured. And he had to come off. So that's going to affect them, no doubt, because he definitely is a very, very good player. But this Southampton game is so critical to us. I mean, it genuinely is. I don't know how David Moyes is going to approach it. This is one game in particular where I don't care how we get through it, because ultimately this has gone beyond David Moyes. I don't give a shit about David Moyes anymore. I'm not talking about him. I'm convinced he's gone in the summer, whatever happens. I think that's been the case for quite some time. I think he's going to be gone irrespective of whether or not he lifts a trophy with us or not. The first and last trophy of his career, if that happens. And I hope he does, because we all want to see a trophy. We do, if we're in it, might as well win it. And I've never seen West Ham win anything meaningful. So yeah, if we're in it and providing it doesn't impact our league push for league safety, then fine, let's go for it. But again, even that is going to be dictated by what happens in this game, because we've got a pack of 3 games coming up, starting with Southampton at home, followed by Newcastle at home, followed by Fulham away. 3 days gap in between, rolling games. Now, that isn't always a bad thing for West Ham. When we saw that sort of in and around the lockdown period, when we had to make up the fixtures, we tended to do okay with those compacted fixtures, because less training, more games. We came out of those all right. Well, better than all right in some instances, but I think a lot of that is probably down to the fact that the players would rather play than train, especially when you hear of the atmosphere and the training methods of David Moyes. It's probably going to be quite refreshing to have what would feel like probably a couple of weeks off with these. There won't be many training sessions. It'll be matches, recovery. That's all they're going to be doing. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the 3-game gap thereafter, because if we get a win against Southampton, that sets us in good stead to push on. Then we're not under as much pressure to get a win at Newcastle. A point would do. And then we come up against Fulham, who are a brilliant team this season, but they're missing Mitrovic. They're not missing Willian. I thought they were missing Willian, but they're not. He's going to be missing the Bournemouth game because they play Bournemouth next. So, again, that could work against us. But Mitrovic is pivotal to them. We saw that when they played us. If they'd have had a target man, if they'd have had Mitrovic when they played us, that game would have been done, dusted, would have been dead and buried and out of sight by half time. Because I don't think I've seen another team pull us to pieces the way that Fulham did. Well, I have just recently, Brighton. But at home, I've not seen another team pull us to pieces that bad in the space of about 30 minutes, 40 minutes as what Fulham did. We were torn to shreds, but they was lacking a little bit of cutting edge. Like I say, if they'd had Mitrovic, which luckily, again, they haven't got when we play them in this fixture, they probably would have gone on to win the game. But I think we can get something out of that as well. And like I say, if we win the Southampton game, we're not safe by any means, but it just gives us a platform. It just gives us a platform on which to build on. If we lose that, there's every chance we're going to be bottom. Like I say, everyone else is playing that weekend as well. It'll be a miracle. Or even if we're not, we're gonna be spending another week in that bottom three. It don't matter whether you're 20th or you're 18th. It really doesn't matter. Apparently you get a little bit more money from the Premier League depending on what position you finish. So financially it matters, but ultimately wherever you are in that bottom three, you're going down. So it just means another week, 2 weeks in that bottom three if we don't beat Southampton. It's a mentality thing. And yeah, I'm really worried about it. I'm really, really worried. Like I say, I don't really know how he should approach it, because as much as I'll keep on saying and banging the drum, he's got to play progressive. He's got to play progressive. Listen, we know David Moyes can't do it. We know he hasn't got the ability to coach and deploy a team to play in that way. He physically can't. So if we want to win the game, I think I would rather him just stick to his core football philosophy that he's worked with for fucking years, that he knows inside out, the way that he knows how to play football. I think the time for David Moyes to be experimenting has passed. He's spent a fortune on trying to make us into a different team. He's failed miserably. It's been an epic failure. 200 million spent to move us to becoming a progressive, possession-based team. And at this stage of the season, compared to last season, we're down on the percentage stats, down on the possession percentage stats. We're down on average passes by about 25%. Average passes per game, we're down by about 25%. We're down on presses. We're down on running. We're down on progressive patterns of play, which is how they measure that. These are the Opta stats I'm referring to. A progressive pattern of play is a combination of 10 passes to basically move you up the pitch. We're down. We've dropped 2 of those per 90 compared to this time last year. The average time that we're in possession now is around about 7 seconds or 8 seconds before we're dispossessed. It's fucking horrendous. The actual stats, because my eyes have been telling me it's been bad, okay? All of our eyes have, really, if we're being honest. Even those that have still backed David Moyes will have held their hands up and gone, no, it's been awful. It's been terrible football. But these stats, these Opta stats, they're the industry standard. That's where all the game's best analysts work. They're impartial. The stats are worse than the picture that our eyes have painted for us. It's terrible, And this is the other thing as well. How can there be nobody at the club? Because even if you're not looking at it like what we do from a fan's eyes, we're not enjoying the football. What's going on? At least if there was something you could hang on to, statistically, as an owner of a football club and go, yeah, look, I know it ain't pretty at the moment, but you can see things are going in the right direction. We're getting data back from our data analysts and they're saying, things are going in the right way. No, everything is folding in on itself. We're imploding. Okay, now that can all be halted. That doesn't mean we're getting relegated, but it proves that David Moyes has completely and utterly ballsed up this year. But like I say, not that we needed that proven to us with stats, numbers, percentages, but it does more than back up what we've been seeing. Like I say, it prints an even more Horrific picture, to be quite honest. It's even more worrying than what I thought it was. So this Southampton game is important. I really, genuinely feel that if we lose against Southampton, I think we're going to go. Now, there's loads of people, like the likes of Nigel. There's still 11 games to go. Um, I think we'll go. I think if we lose to Southampton, I think that's going to be us done. And yes, we've still got the Europa Conference League. We might still get to a final, might still win a cup, but the polish will well and truly have been taken off of that cup win if we get relegated. It would be a typical West Ham thing to do, wouldn't it? Well, I say a typical West Ham thing, win a cup and get relegated. I would never won a cup my whole life, but you know what I'm trying to say. It would be awful, to be quite honest. So yeah, it's all on that game. There isn't really much. We're all stuck in West Ham Purgatory at the moment. We've all done David Moyes to death. I couldn't say any more about him than what I've already said. I'll stick by my guns. It is what it is. He should have gone a long time ago. He's still here. The board have messed up. It's a collective fuck up by the club. Paralysis. They're all paralysed with fear. That's all. The board. The manager, the players, and the fans as well. We're all fucking. We just don't know what's going on, and it just seems to how we can have dropped this far in the space of a year is beyond me. Especially when you consider we have invested, we've tried to build on what we did. We have, but let's face it. When it was determined that David Moyes himself came out and said, "My style's been found out," which was that very effective counter-attacking game. The opposition basically went, nah, sit a bit deeper, stop him getting in behind, give David Moyes a puzzle that he will simply not be able to fucking solve, which he still hasn't been able to solve. At that point, before the money was spent, that was a point where a club that knew what they were doing, not the fans might have been outraged if they'd have got rid of David Moyes in the summer after the 2 years that it just had. But the right thing to do from a business perspective and a football perspective and a future of the club perspective would have been to have moved David Moyes on and brought a progressive manager in that could have coached the team in the way that we needed to move towards with that huge fucking transfer kitty we had as well. But no, we've run with it. We've stuck with it. It just goes to show you that nobody at the club gets any advice, takes any advice. They make it up as they go along because all of the data suggests that this has been the way it's been going for an awful long time. So this is what I mean. Even if they're not going to listen to the fans, they would listen to people that know what they're talking about. They would listen to data scientists and stuff like that. They would be getting advice from different people. But it kind of proves that these guys just mustn't take any advice from anyone. I think it's all on a wing and a prayer the whole way through. It's all about hope. We're too good to go down. We're going to be fine. Look at what we've done. And that is a dangerous game to play in the Premier League because unlike last year when Norwich were dead and buried and gone by this point in the season, the Premier League is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. That money in the Premier League is being spread far and wide. It's making every team that bit stronger. There's not much in any of the games, really. So nobody's too good to go down, Fine margins. Everything's got to be finely tuned, The manager's got to get the tactics right. The players have got to be happy, fit and firing. Everything's got to be right for you to win against the opposition in the Premier League. You can't just fucking make it up as you go along. And that's just what we've tried to do this year. They just thought, I'll throw loads of money. Hey, we'll be all right. No way we go down 180 million. They're still saying it now. You're getting quotes coming out from the board saying we've got no intention of getting relegated. What the fuck does that mean? You've got no intention of getting relegated? You're doing your best to get us relegated. Yeah. Bizarre club. Bizarre in every way. But like I said, all that said doesn't mean we're going down. We could still get out of this. Those lucky bastards, and let's hope they're lucky, we could get dragged through by a failing manager. And this is in spite of David Moyes, David Sullivan, and everything else. We could still survive in spite of that. Not because of it, in spite of it. And I think there's a better chance that we will than we won't. So I've been having more time to think about it. I think we're more likely to survive than get relegated, but it all pivots on this game against Southampton, which we do typically win, but now we have to win. We have to beat them at home. If we beat them at home, I think we're going to be okay. I think that we could get enough points out of the next, because the European thing against Ghent, we're gonna breeze through that. So just ignore that. We've got 7 big games in April. The European ones will take care of themselves. Our fucking B team will beat Ghent. I reckon we can get enough points in April to make us comfortable and safe enough in the Premier League to maybe even allow us to put more focus. People like me who are struggling to get excited about the Europa Conference League because of the fear of the drop, I'll get a lot more excited about the Conference League if we're a bit safer in the league. Then I'll be going, yes, go for it. Go on, bang. Yeah. And that might give us something exciting to sort of finish the season on. But it all pivots. It all pivots on these early results. More typically that Southampton one. So hopefully we can get the results there. Like I say, I think we've come away unscathed against in this international break. So it's all on David Moyes now. He's got pretty much a fully fit squad. Hopefully he's been working on something in this break rather than what he did in the last international break, where he came back and everything that was the same, nothing had changed. You know, something has to change in this one. You know, he needs one thing that that Opta report does tell you is David Moyes needs to find a solution, because what he's been doing hasn't been working. He ain't getting the best out of anyone. The likes of Paqueta's fucking failing, you know, and his attacking stats are way lower than what he had for Lyon. And yes, what you're going to say is, oh yeah, that's because he played in Lyon and it's a shit league. No, because what the Opta stats do is they drill deeper into it. And Lucas Paqueta received on average 7 to 8 progressive passes from deep to himself in an average game in France. For West Ham, he receives about 2. That's how many times that Paqueta he receives pass of a ball that would enable him to open up and go on a run and drive into space and try and make something happen. He gets for West Ham 2 opportunities to do that in a game. Because all we do is we go wide, wide, wide. Thomas Souček stats, as if they weren't bad enough, they've dropped down 25%. He's got fucking 25% worse. I mean, do you remember that one game? I can't remember what game it was, because he's largely shit technically in every game that he plays in. Loads of effort, but he ain't a good footballer, all right? But that game where he averaged 1 pass every 10 minutes. This is a guy that David Moyes sits in the middle of our team. He averaged 1 pass every 10 minutes. You know, you saw the likes of Fornals and Lanzini in the European game. We've got players there that can play a possession-based game if David Moyes really wants to do it, but he ain't gone full into it. That's the trouble with him. He's got the personnel there. If you want to play a possession-based game, play players that can keep the ball and pass the fucking ball. That's what you do, Dave. That's number 1. Tick. Can every player in this team, are they good on the ball? Can they pass it? Yes. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll throw a big fucking tree in the middle of the park that the ball just bounces off of. But look, I love Souček. I do as a person. He's done wonderful things for us since he's been in. But moving on, he's got to go. He's got to go, or just be relegated to the bench as an impact player that we bring on in certain scenarios when we're trying to shit out our way from a corner or a set piece or something like that. He's you know, I don't know whether, as John alluded to in one of his previous videos, whether Souček's been broken, whether David Moyes has just played him and played him and played him. And the way that he plays Souček is he's up and down, up and down, up and down. Fuck knows how many kilometres he's run since he's been at West Ham. I mean, he's a footballer, not a fucking steeplechase runner. So maybe Souček's just been broken. I don't know, but he is. He looks broken. He looks broken. Whether that's just lack of motivation, lack of confidence, or whatever it is, I don't know. But all I know is at this moment in time, he's useless for us. But David Moyes refuses to take him out. He refuses to take him out. And it goes back to that sort of mates thing, you know. If anyone who saw the translated version of Southal's interview to the Czech media, where he's just gone away and done another bombshell interview, he did say that David Moyes came up to him and said, "Oh, I made a mistake dropping you. It was a mistake." He gave me a cuddle, and basically, I'm assuming he said, "You're going to play every game now." This goes back to it's the same fucking thing, isn't it? Do you know, he comes across as this stern-faced, hard man. He's weak. No. If I was Moyes, I'd have been turning around to Southall saying, "Do you know why you was dropped, Vlad? Because you was shit for about 2 months. That's why you was dropped, mate. So you're going to get your opportunity again. Start playing well. You keep your place. But the reason you were dropped is because you was shit. Come on, we'll go and watch the videos again. I'll show you everything you fucking done wrong. That's the type of management that we need in this instance when we're struggling. And he hasn't got the reliance on. Well, I suppose he's got more of a reliance on Southampton now than what he had before since Ashby's gone. But I don't know. He's got to start, and he's going to have to use his squad in the league. You know, with these three game gaps, he's got a good enough squad to rotate players all over the place. But I can almost guarantee you that Souček will probably play in every one of the 3 games in 9 days. And by the time we get to Fulham, you know, he's going to be crawling over the halfway line on his knees and his elbows. He'll be fucked. He'll still leave him on because, do you know why? Do you remember what he did about 18 months ago? The last time he got his head on the cross, there's still a chance that Souček could do that because that is a David Moyes game plan. Out wide, whip balls in. He's stuck in a fucking time lapse from 18 months ago thinking that Thomas Souček is still a goal threat. He ain't anymore. Not the way we play. We've been figured out. But anyway, look, that's me done. Maybe I'll see you later. Cheerful as always. And yes, like I said, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop a like on it. And I will see you all again soon. Come on, you heads.